Hey guys, my name is Moon and welcome back for more Tsukihime, A Piece of Blue Glass Moon. So last episode, there were quite a lot of scenes, right, at different areas of the story. So we had conversations with Father Mario and how he met Noelle the first time. He was so rude to her. And then we had our conversations in the mansion with Akiha, right? So anyways, let us continue.
Ohio-chan!
And we have the very suspicious Dr. Arak here.
朝から体をいじってほしいとか？しきちゃんったら超いいじゃん！私、シチューみたいにたぎった思春期少年病の餌食になっちゃうのかしら？
Arak enters the parlor straight from the terrace instead of going through the mansion.
すみません。別に悪いところはないし、めまいも収まったんで、帰ってもらっていいですか？
ああ、しきちゃんったら堅物ちゃん。身持ち硬いとか今時流行んない。でも、そんなところが一流のサバイバーなのかしら？情弱死すべしな世の中ですし、目の前のごちそうをほいほいはらませてたら、玉がいくつあっても足りないってことかしら。いやー、さすが雑食動物、本能のように否認してる。
She chatters away as she approaches the sofa where I'm seated. She walks with all the subtlety of a runway model, swaying her chest and hips in exaggerated fashion, yet oddly her footsteps makes no sound, almost like a ninja. I still don't know her too well, so I can't really say, but she seems particularly enthusiastic today. Or maybe I'm just hoping that this isn't her norm.
はーい、それじゃあ患部を出してね、すぐ出してね。ちょっとサバサバするわね。上着だけ脱ぐ？脈拍と心音だけ見てくれってこと？ああ、それはダメ。嘘は良くないわよ。しきちゃん、全身悪いところだらけじゃない。膝、足首、肘、腰回りもちゃんとケアしとかないとね。これほっとくと明日までには治らないわよ。
Hearing this makes me sit straight up without thinking. It seems I need to make a serious reassessment of Professor Arak. I still have my clothes on, so that means she was able to detect all of that just by touching me?
それはわかります。プロだもん。しきちゃんが生まれる前から、言い過ぎか。しきちゃんがこんな小さい時から人体見てるのよ。ぶっちゃけ顔色見ただけで内臓のダメージまで分かったわよ。はーい、そういうわけなんでおとなしくパンツになってね。湿布は邪魔くさいだろうからできるだけ軟膏で済ませてあげる。あとは点滴ね、栄養剤。とにかくいろいろ足りてないでしょ。
はい。いや、パンツになるって、はい？
パンツはパンツじゃん。要はパンツだけになれって話。トウシちゃん、それで退出してるんでしょ。いいじゃん、パンイチ。私好きだな。なんなら全裸でもいいわよ。
お酒飲んでませんよね。
Honestly, all these older ladies in this game, Miss Noelle, Dr. Arak, yeah, they're always teasing every single time.
飲んでないわよ。私いつも真剣だもん。と言いたいところだけど、実はハイなの。すごくハイ。昨日の夜から脳内麻薬分泌しまくり。私生活が充実してきたっていうの？ここのところルーチンワークばっかりだったからさ、やっぱり生活には波乱が必要よね。そのあたりしきちゃんには大感謝だから、今朝は特別にきっちり見てあげましょう。
っていつの間にか脱げてる。
Professor Arak has already gotten my shirt off somehow. Just how experienced is she? There is no point in resisting, it would only delay the inevitable. I settle on not getting stripped completely naked and do my best to dodge Professor Arak's magical fingers. You saw Shiki's chest earlier, right? It kind of reminds me of Jiraiya. If you watch Naruto, he had a scar like that, but his scar was much more mangled, I guess, compared to Shiki's. The whole thing takes about 10 minutes. She applied an ointment to the area where the inflammation was particularly bad and wrapped tape around my joints. It's not the most elaborate treatment, but I feel much better already. If only she could keep her mouth shut, she'd be a great doctor.
でも器用に怪我したものね。肩甲骨のあたりとかちょっと普通じゃない感じ。何？喧嘩の相手は一人や二人じゃなかったの？というか、刃物持ち出してない？相手。
いや、そんなことはないですけど。すみません、アラク博士。このことは、アキハには黙っていてもらえますか？
博士！博士って言った！よし、黙る！博士と言ってくれたしきちゃんのお願いなら何でもだいたい3割ぐらいまで聞いちゃう。
I'm glad she's agreed to keep quiet, but 30% seems rather low.
でも、本当に昨日は何をしていたのかしら？しきちゃん右手側だけ怪我してないし、もしかして誰かと一緒だった？その人が隣にいたから片側だけスキンガードされてたとか？
別にそんなことはありません。一人でした、ずっと。
まあいいけど。もし他に怪我しちゃった人がいたら教えてね。しきちゃんがこれだと一緒にいた人もひどい怪我してそうだし、浅い傷口でも感染症だってあるし、本人が平気だと思っても毒はゆっくり回っていくものだしね。
At this, I remember how CL covered me as she fought. Professor Rock was right on the money. CL looked fine, but the injuries she sustained were many times greater than mine.
ま、しきちゃんが一人だったっていうならいっか。でもまだ体力は戻らないわよね。よし、後で点滴でもしとこっか。せっかくしきちゃん用の点滴パックを預かってるわけですし、バンバン使って在庫なくさないと、トウシちゃんから次のお小遣いがもらえないっていうか。
By the way, I kind of noticed as well. Like I said, was it earlier or last time that I said the spiders, right? Dr. Arak. And then I just noticed that, yeah, her and Miss Noel would like do this, this act, I guess, right? I mean, for Dr. Arak, we're not sure yet, but they would, let's say, put a face on like a different character. But then in reality, let's say, their actual personality is much more different, right? Like for Dr. Arak here, like she's acting like she's like dumb, but in reality, she's most likely not like this, right? Yes.
そんなわけで、食後は部屋でウルトラ点滴タイム決定！ 1 時間ぐらいかかるから、午前中開けておいてね。それじゃ、チャオ！
No, dumb as for example, I mean, like the way she moves. I mean, obviously she's smart, right? But the way she moves, the way she acts, yeah, it's like, let's say clumsy, dumb, something like that. But if there is a reveal that she is, let's say, much more different, much more serious, I would not be surprised is what I'm saying, yes. She scuttles out of the room. It's been 20 minutes since Akiha left. I should get to the dining room and have breakfast. I kept Kohaku awaiting long enough. Now that I've had breakfast, it's time to get the IV from Professor Arak. I lie down during the process and accidentally doze off. Professor Rock left the mansion once IV drip was finished. The clock now reads noon. I feel a lot better now thanks to her. If nothing else, I shouldn't have any problems walking. I won't be able to go that far, but where should I spend the afternoon? We can... I guess I could take a look around the mansion. Yeah, let's pick this one. Yeah. I'll take a look around the mansion. I doubt it's changed much in the last 7 years, but maybe I can discover something new now that I've grown older. Well then, after walking around the mansion for an hour, I've come to a conclusion.
立ち入り禁止の区画が多すぎない。
I grumble aloud despite being alone. The Tono Mansion is about as big as a hotel, and just like a hotel, it has a lot of rooms most people aren't allowed to enter. The second floor of the East Wing is especially outrageous, not in a bad way though. It just feels overwhelming. While most rooms were locked, that wasn't the case for the East Wing's second floor. But whenever I thought to check it out, I'd start feeling dizzy, almost like the hallway itself was shifting beneath me.
許可なしで入ったら絶対に殺すという強い意志を感じる。
By her, I mean Akiha, of course. It may just be paranoia, but I avoided the second floor of the East Wing entirely. I feared that if I entered, my social life would be over forever.
Ah, それが正解だ。
Oh no, it's the masked guy again. I know his voice.
おいそれと当主の生活空間に入るものじゃない。それが家族であろうともね。昔からここではそうだっただろう、四季君。
I jump, surprised at the voice that calls out to me from behind. Spinning around, I find him standing there.
屋敷の探索は終わったかね？私としては出戻った人間には自室でおとなしくしていてほしいのだが。
それはどうも。こっちもよく知らない人間にうちの周りを歩いてほしくないですけど。
私を知らないのは君だけなんだが。まあそこは流そう。お互い深く関わり合う立場じゃない。いたしかゆしだ。今日はそうだな。私も気が緩んでいたらしい。君の後ろ姿から昔を思い出してね。声をかけてしまったんだよ。
俺を見て昔を思い出したですか。
Does he mean?
ああ、牧久さんがまだ万全だった頃だ。ここ数年は部屋にこもりがちだったが、もともとは植物を愛する人でね。こうして屋敷の周りを歩いていた。牧久さんが植物に造詣が深かったことは話したかな？
Has he ever said that? I don't believe so.
私も少しはかじっていてね。二人でよくそこの植物園で語り合ったものさ。
植物園なんか厳重に施錠されてますけど。
入り口はね、裏口は簡単な鍵で開けられる。持っているのは琥珀状かな。ありがたいことに今でも最低限の世話をしてくれているようだ。
That's a surprise. Saiki addresses Kohaku as Miss. It's not at all how I expected him to talk about a servant.
あなたは琥珀さんと親しいんですか？
私があの使用人と
His sarcastic scoff turns into full-blown laughter. This guy, man, he's so creepy. We don't even know who he is, right? Like fully, I mean, what his background is. I don't need to ask and know what he found so funny. He is laughing at me.
何かおかしなこと言いましたか俺。
いや、失敬。今のは私が悪いな。何しろ君に落ち度はない。ただ、あんまりな質問だった。というだけだ。私は琥珀城とはそう親しくはないよ。彼女と話すようになったのは、明葉が当主になってからだ。琥珀城は、明葉の秘書役でもある。必然、会話の機会も増える。どちらかというと、私は翡翠城と顔見知りだがね。
Another surprise. This weirdo and Hisui are acquainted? What does that even mean?
昔の話だよ。それも。ここ数年は全く話をしていない。挨拶程度はするがね。さて、私も日差しを浴びすぎた。肌が痒くていけない。
As Goto Saiki raises his hand, a car that was waiting in the parking area comes around to the entrance. I guess it means our conversation is over.
ああ、本題を聞き忘れていた。どうかな？7年ぶりに屋敷を見た感想は。
特に驚きはないです。子供の頃の記憶合わせができたのは1回だけですし。
I answered the human mummy Goto Saiki's question.
なんだ。しかし、そうだな。過去から戻ってきたとしても、見違えるような現実など、そうはないということか。
Goto Saiki says his piece and leaves the Tono mansion behind. He visits the mansion pretty often. Maybe he has a residence in Soya.
次はその辺りに切り込んでみるか。
It's obvious that he considers me an enemy, or at least an obstacle. Well, you know what they say, know thy enemy, right? I should get some information on him as insurance.
ま、それはそれとして。
I don't want to end my day off like this. Collecting myself, I return to exploring the mansion. I think I'll try the garden next. So we're gonna go to all the areas? A mansion, a garden, and then the other one is CL's house, right? I walk out onto the terrace. It's the same terrace that stretches behind the parlor. When we were younger, this area was Akia's space whenever the weather was nice. But really, it wasn't so much her space as it was the edge of her territory. Let me see this again. Where are we here, right? Yeah, it kind of feels like I've seen this scene, I mean, back then. And it's kind of familiar, but I don't know. Akia didn't venture into the garden on her own. This terrace was as far as she could go.
そうだった。よく庭から声をかけて家庭教師の目を盗んだっけ。
I think she wanted me to come by here whenever we went out to play. She said it wasn't fair if we went to play in the forest by ourselves or something, which meant it was my role to take Akiha into the woods and then shoulder the subsequent scolding. I moved from the terrace to the garden. In the eyes of a child, the garden looked like it stretched on forever, but now that I'm older and taller, I can grasp it in its entirety. There are fewer flowers more than there were 7 years ago, but the general atmosphere hasn't changed a bit. After about 10 minutes of leisurely strolling, I reached the gazebo. This is where the garden ends. All that lies beyond is a dense forest, and being mindful not to overexert my leg, I decided to end my walk here.
それにしても
This place makes me feel like I've left Japan. I lean against a handrail and admire the vast garden in all its autumn splendor. From out here, the mansion feels closer to a castle, so I feel so out of place in this picturesque scene that I can't help but force a smile. The only people who would look at a home in a place like this are Akiha.
I いつとシエル先輩ぐらいかな
The astonishingly beautiful vampire, and the fellow student clad in gallant armor. I wonder what happened to the two of them afterwards. Arcuade was hostile to CL, given her position, would likely consider Arcuade as an enemy. I can only hope that they went their separate ways without incident.
バカだななんでそんな心配をしてるんだ俺
Whatever happened, it's all over now. CL's objective was to take down Vlov, so she has no reason to stay in Soya anymore. That's why it's pointless to think back on all that's happened.
そうだそれでいいんだもうあんな無茶をしなくていいんだから
I stopped myself short. Why bother telling myself a lie that I would never buy? Even now, I have all these lingering feelings. My gratitude to CL and my hopes for what could have been. It's the same with Arcuade. Although she brought me nothing but trouble, our time together was, well, it was fun.
バカか俺は先輩はともかくあいつはどうでもいいじゃないか
She almost got me killed, so why can't I get her out of my head? Why would I want to go through something like that ever again? I sigh and leave the gazebo behind. I take my time on the way back too, wandering aimlessly through the garden. But my regrets refuse to set with the sun, and my thoughts continue to wander along after the light has faded from the horizon. Nighttime. So the scene that we just saw, it was, I guess, kind of similar to the scene we got back then, but we didn't really like go to the gazebo itself because if I remember correctly, we went there and then Shiki checked the gazebo, right? But at this time around, yeah, we were just standing there and then Shiki was being reminded of Arcuade and CL. Anyways, my afternoon wasn't all that eventful in the end. After that, absent-mindedly wasting some time in my room, it didn't take long for dinner time to come around.
なんだろう体中だるいななんか
I tried to shake off the fatigue weighing down on me like a cold. It must be the after effects of all the excitement of the past few days. Now that things are calm again, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm sure another night's rest will put my mind in order. Akiha is seated in the dining room with Kohaku at attention behind her, while Hisui has taken her position behind me. Kohaku has prepared a traditional Japanese dinner. The main dish is shiitake mushrooms, bigger and probably more expensive than I've ever seen. There's stuff with meat, but overall the meal is on the healthy side. Akiha, wearing a bored expression, stabs one of her mushrooms with her fork. She brings it to her mouth without any comment on the food. She just returned to the mansion about an hour ago. Apparently some unexpected problems arose, and she had to dedicate most of her day to dealing with them.
翡翠、念のため聞いておくけど、うちの夕食って死後現金だったっけ？
I keep my voice to a soft whisper so that Akiha doesn't hear.
いいえ、親族の皆様間での談話は自由に行われておりました。
じゃあ、アキハが黙っているのは単に機嫌が悪いだけ？
申し訳ありません。私には分かりかねます。あくまで憶測ですが、秋葉様はお疲れなのではないでしょうか。
そっか。そりゃそうだよな。いつも不機嫌だけど、今は特にご機嫌斜めだし。ほんと、ご苦労様だこと。
I nod in sympathy. I should probably give her some space to relax since her Sunday was ruined by extenuating circumstances. And no better than to try to throw out a random topic. Yep, it's best to let sleeping Akiha's lie.
聞こえていましたよ、兄さん。別に午後の視察で疲れているわけではありません。食事は静粛にが当家のマナーですから。
She glares at me sharply. I'm not surprised that she saw me talk to Hisui, but the fact that she actually overheard what we talked about is terrifying. Just how good is her hearing?
もっとも、それも過去の話ですが。どうしても話がある。今日一日の出来事を語り合いたい。というのであれば、その限りではありません。
Nodding in acknowledgement, I resume eating. Since I had a small breakfast and lunch, I've worked up a reasonable appetite for dinner. My compliments to the chef Kohaku. These mushrooms are one of the most delicious things I have ever tasted. I'll tell Kohaku as much, which she takes in stride.
ありがとうございます。ですが、この勝利は当然なのです。今夜の食材は産地直送。恐れ多くも天皇陛下にもご献上されている一品ですもの。
I was right. These are expensive shiitake mushrooms indeed.
それで、私の仕事ぶりをいたわってくれた兄さんは、午後の休みをどのように過ごされたのです？
俺のことか。午後は散歩に出て、部屋に戻ってからはずっとベッドで横になってた。
それは、また貧血ですか？
いや、考え事をしていたら夜になっていただけだ。体の調子は悪くないよ。
つまり、無意に時間を浪費したということですね。
So now she's basically getting angry again.
そんなくだらないことを堂々と口にしないでください。私は何とも思いませんが、他の人が聞けば笑い物になるだけですから。
I have no way of rebutting her merciless words, but I'm curious about something she said.
確かに自堕落に思われる発言だった。というか自堕落だった。反省している。けど、秋葉は何とも思わないってどうして？
Could Could it be that despite her strict demeanor, she's actually pretty lenient with her close relatives?
どうしても何も当然でしょ。私は党の指揮に何も期待はしていませんから。兄さんがそういう人であることは初めから承知の上です。
I see. There is certainly wisdom in that. You can't be disappointed if you're not hoping for anything. I'm truly at a loss for words.
いやー、ごちそうさまでした。
ごちそうさま。食後は習い事がありますので、私はこれで。兄さん、反省なされたのでしたら、今夜は早めに部屋に戻って、勉学に励んでくださいね。
Akia rises from her seat and leaves the dining room. With her gone, it suddenly feels like there's room to breathe. I thank Ohako and Hizui for the meal and then head back to my room. Like the air was very heavy, I guess with tension, when Akiha was there. I pass the time doing nothing in particular yet again. I take a bath, study a little, and then lie in bed. Everything is back to the way it was. The carnage and death of the past 2 days are now behind me. If I close my eyes and let the dark embrace of sleep take me, the embers of burning inside me may just be put out. But something floats to the surface of my mind. My eyelids are shut, my brain is turned off, and still, this vision comes back. I see her in the midst of a raging blizzard, a cascade of sparks framing her figure. Of all the moments I will never forget, I wonder why this one stands out above the rest. It is a snapshot burned into my mind. Tears well uninvited beneath my eyelids as I recall the single moment. It feels like I've witnessed something I shouldn't have, like a prayer or oath spoken in utter desperation. Unable to bear it any longer, my eyelids fly open. I dry the corner of my eyes and look up at the ceiling I have yet to grow used to. Despite the quiet calmness evades me, it's the same way I felt in Ciel's room 3 days ago. Now that I think about it, did I really spend the night in Ciel's room? I was racked with guilt over having killed someone, which I only forgot about after being around Arco Wade. But if that night had never happened, I don't think that Shikitano lying here now would exist. I wonder what that night meant to Ciel. Was she just extending a hand to me because she couldn't bear to leave me? Like I was an abandoned puppy in the rain.
そうだろうな。人助けが趣味なんだし、あの人。
I mumbled this as if reasoning with myself and shut my eyelids. I pass the time in a daze, hoping to distance myself from those memories and wash away the impressions they left on me. As long as I can manage this, the things that happened will all fade into the past. My consciousness drifts toward the abyss. Thus, my peaceful day comes to an end. I lie in bed and slide into a vague slumber as if I can convince myself it'll all fade away. And then Shiki's gonna wake up, and then he's gonna be like, okay, I awake. It feels like someone called out to me. My body is heavy, weighed down by the desire to go back to sleep. But my mind, alert, aware, does not allow it. Maybe a little reading will do me some good. I'll probably get sleepy in no time, sifting through some boring old records. I'd get out of bed and move to the adjoining room. I pick up a book from the bookshelf and open it to a random page. Immortality. If this word could be realized, it would surely be considered one of the defining features of eternity. However, a problem persists. There is no being in existence that has attained such a state. Even vampires who do not age, who can reawaken from death, prove no exception to this. For their immortality is defective. They cannot maintain it without feeding on the blood of others. Moreover, they can only feed on others of their own kind, predominantly humans in this instance, which severely limits their versatility. While they declare themselves superior beings, in truth they represent not evolution but regression. In their dependence on others to sustain their life, they are no different from others. But there do exist life forms close to perfection. Perpetual motion machines in their own right, they have survived since times primordial. These beings feed on and multiply their own bodies. The concept of lifespan is immaterial to them, whose old cells are recycled to nourish the new. Such creatures are called colonial organisms. Consider, for example, the jellyfish. However, this perpetual motion is only possible in the absence of sapiens. If one is willing to accept eternity at the price of sapiens, one may as well seek it in death. Similarly, one who seeks to maintain their human form for all eternity cannot do so through immortality. Over time, the body will decay and the mind will wither. Immortality versus eternity. I have no attachment to the time-worn idea of its immortality. And eternity is impossible while one clings to the concept of individuality. So in conclusion, rather than merely prolong my individual existence through immortality, I have chosen to live for all eternity through infinitude. Infinitude? What does that mean? Your approach is certainly unique even among the ancestors. However, under your method, your eternal life would end in tandem with the extinction of humans, no? Your process requires a human fetus. In its reliance on external factors is no different from the longevity of the dead apostles. That is of no concern to me. Humans can only function properly in the company of other humans. If humanity were to go extinct, my own survival would be meaningless. I will die with them anyway, one way or another. So that is your answer. Immortality with a predetermined endpoint. What a singular notion. All dead apostles who were once mages seem to suffer from the same mania. They value their ideals more than their own existence. That said, what he proposes is a far cry from eternity, Serpent. Oh, it's him. Mr. Forgot his name. It's been a while, sorry. Roa. Yeah, Roa. No, it is eternity. Let extinction be a total when it comes. Once none are left to observe it, the universe will fall into everlasting stasis. The fleeting time between now and the end of human life, that is my eternity. I cannot bring the end myself, thus my only choice is to live to see it. Well, and that aside, I found one thing to amuse myself in the meantime. Is that why you went through the trouble of calling me here? You have done well to find this sea. I had not thought my cold workshop of immortality might still be operational. You should be proud. Your work withstood 800 years of technological advances after all. I can devote myself to my experiments here without anyone interfering. They say that no one, not even the will of the planet itself, can find the wandering sea. Is that true? Until the new year at least. Very well, I should be glad to accept the final request of a compatriot, especially one with only a year left in this world. I'm also rather interested in your exploits in the northern seas. I'm certain they will prove edifying. Well, we can save that for after we've resolved the issue at hand. It turned out to be rather a disappointment. Now then, allow me to enlighten you about the principle within you. About the sliver of mystics that spills over into reality. With that relic of the age of the gods, there is someone I would have you capture. So, I guess it was Roa. But who's the other one? Countless chains bind the vampire's limbs. The bonds, like vines rooted in the wall, hold the very air captive. He calls upon lightning, to aid his escape, but there is no way out. The serpent awoke from his coffin in captivity, having no opportunity to retaliate, let alone flee. He's a fish caught in a net, an insect trapped in a spider's web, and the fate that awaits him is clear, a miserable death, captured and consumed. A merciless strike tears the vampire's heart out of his chest. Vampires possess a near immortal ability to regenerate, but that power is lost if the organ that transports blood is taken away from them. Blood circulation is the only thing vampires have in common with living creatures. The moment they lose that, their powers are greatly diminished. In fact, it would be preferable to have one's heart crushed. Even deprived of the magical energy in its blood, the body can still function well enough to regenerate a destroyed heart. But not when the heart is ripped out wholesale. When the heart and soul are separated from the flesh, the body will quickly decay. An inexorable decline. Like an old man run out of ways to cheat death. Give that back, he may have screamed. But his prayer goes unheard. Chains have torn out his throat, so only bone remains. His chest, where his lungs would be, has rent asunder, leaving the vampire unable to even scream in anguish.
それが遺言?
Arcuade.
今度のは特に粗末だったのね、ロア。
So Arcuade was the one doing this to him? A beautiful voice bids him farewell. The vampire's hand pulls outstretched as if begging for life. His body has completely ceased to function. His name is Roa. It is an extremely one-sided end for the vampire, who spent over 10 years making the grounds beneath Soya. So it's both of them. Honestly, when you look at them at the same time, it looks like Arcuade is the older sister, right? And then Mario is the younger brother. Yes. By the time Mario Gallo Bestino arrives on the scene, the tragedy has already been committed. Inside this clandestine chamber, where not even moonlight shines, are the stone coffin of the vampire in his body that is now Akarian. And standing over it all is a woman in white, a vampire princess, holding the dead vampire's heart in her left hand. If I remember correctly, I think Mario wants to learn about how Roa is doing this, right? Yeah, how it works, his immortality, I guess.
あら、誰かと思えば見知った匂い。あなた、もしかしてラウレンティスの子？
今はそっちとは関係ねえよ。マリオと呼んでくれ。くそ、目を離した隙にこれかよ。ロアの野郎は完全に死んじまったな。これで次は何年後だ
？Because yes, remember when Mario said the dad, Laurentis, the cardinal, he's over 100 years old now. So yeah, he probably wants that, what Roa has, right? So maybe he couldn't live forever as well.
さあ、あいつの事情なんて知らないわ。今まで通り行くのならまた17年ぐらい？
That's why he or at least Mario wanted him alive. For now.
17年だと。
Chagrined, Mario glares at the corpse. He has 17 years. I don't think the Cardinal has 17 years left in him. The expression on his face is close to pure hatred.
それじゃ間に合わねえんだよ。どうしてくれる？なんだってそんなにやる気に溢れてやがるんだよ、てめえ。いつもの無気力さはどこに行った？ジジイの話じゃ淡々と使徒の末端から潰していくって話だが。
いつもの私？いつもの私って言った？そっか、そうね。今までの私なら確かにもうちょっと時間をかけたかも。でも今回は1秒も無駄にしたくなかったの。ロアなんかに使う時間がもったいなくて。
ただの気まぐれかよ。なんだそれ。なんか悪いもんでも食べたのか？それとも故障が近いのか？精密機械が気分でパターン変えてんじゃねえよ、くそ。
Mario's foul mouth is nothing out of the ordinary, but his tone betrays his crumbling composure. If he had kept his cool head, his typically observant eye might have noticed a change in the woman sooner.
つまりあれか、代行者どもが頑張りすぎた。てめえが27歳とやり合っていれば、こんな結果にはならなかったわけか。
I mean, I guess. Because yes, in the other route, right? Arcoade was the one who fought for love and this didn't happen.
ええ、もし私だけでブローブと戦っていたら、今頃は眠っていたでしょうね。新参者ではあったけど、そうである以上は強敵だったんだろうし。
はあ、やけに素直じゃねえか。強敵ね。てめえの口からそんな単語が出るとは夢にも思わなかったぜ。
そう？弱くても厄介な相手だったんだから強敵と言うべきじゃないの？
だから厄介な相手なんて感想を持たなかったんだよ、今までのあんたはな。
Mario clicks his tongue in distaste. As she endures his murderous gaze, the vampire princess is moved by understanding.
まあいい。終わったことをうだうだ言っても時間の無駄だ。人生残り少ねえんだし、前向きにいかねえとな。今代の死とロアはこれで消滅。次の発生まで10年以上の時間がかかる。この町での事件はめでたく解決。ロアが死んだことで死者も共倒れ。あとはポコポコ出てくる身元不明の遺体を裁くだけの簡単なお仕事だ。
あなた、代行者たちを連れてすぐに帰らないの？
帰りたいのは山々だがな。片足突っ込んだ手前、最後まで面倒見るしかねえだろ。けどな、お姫様、あんたはいいのかよ。 それで
Her eyes, man.
いいって何が？
Like this Arcuate in this route is different. Yeah. It's like she's I would say not really emotionless, but yeah, much more different, I mean, compared to the one in her own route.
ロアの野郎に横取りされたあんたの容量の話だ。その体、いい加減限界なんだろう。吸血衝動を抑えるには、ロアを真の意味で殺すしかない。こんな使い捨ての体を殺した程度じゃ、奪われたものは戻らない。今回が最後のチャンスだったんじゃないか。なんだって問答無用で始末しちまったんだ。せめて生かした状態で血を吸えば、何割かは取り戻せただろうに。
Mario's voice carries none of his usual venom. He only speaks of such recourse out of the earnest concern for her well-being. Make the pure vampire princess drink blood. He knows what an absurd suggestion it is. Her lips move. Mario can already hear the beauty reply, "Not on my life."
ああ、その手があったか。
Yeah, see, look at this. She's so different. She stares unblinkingly at the heart clutch in her left hand, looking for all the world as though she is about to press her lips to it. Mario's astonishment tears the words from his mouth. To think that he would ever bear witness to something so unfathomable in this far-flung eastern land, no less.
でもやっぱりやらない。こんな生き物を私のものにしたいと思えないし。
She just destroys it. Her white fingers swiftly and elegantly crush the heart. Blood spurts from it, insolently staining her porcelain cheek. A final protest from a serpent denied even his death throes. She wipes away a droplet of his anguish and touches it to her
ほ
tongue.
ら、まだ温かい血液でも哀れなぐらいまずいんだもの。
Her tongue rides redder than blood. I mean, she's actually like licking it now. Look at this. Her smile is a very magic that melts the hearts of men.
お前、そんな側だったか。
The vampire princess ignores Mario's question. That smile is her only reply. She gracefully brushes past him.
帰らないのなら別にいいけど。次に私の後をつけたら、あなたたち全部皆殺しよ、マリオネッタ。
Marionetta. The woman's footsteps echo through the underground cavern. Mario doesn't move until the sound fades completely. His legs tremble with fear. I will kill every single one of you. Is she referring to Mario and his subordinates? Every member of the church in the country? Or perhaps every member on the planet? He knows exactly what she meant. That is why all he can do is stand struck dumb in the darkness.
ふざけんな。ロアどころの話じゃねえ。あの女、どうなってやがる。
So with Roa out, I mean he's gone. It's Arcuade. She's gonna be the enemy in this route. The main enemy, I mean. Mario's voice comes out in a whisper. Arcuade Brune Stud has changed. True. And what that entails is too terrifying to contemplate. Okay, so we will take a break here for now. And yeah. Roa gone. Arcuade has gone crazy, I suppose, right? She's much more dangerous. Her personality is, yeah, very big difference, I guess, compared to her own route. So I assume that she is gonna be the last enemy, or maybe the main enemy for this route with CL here. That'd be very interesting to see, right? As when we were in Arcowade's route, until the end, it was like Shiki likes her, loves her, right? So it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens this time around. So we'll see. So anyways, we're gonna continue this, and we're gonna do more of Tsukihime, A Piece of Blue Glass Moon, in the next one. So I'll just see you then, guys. Bye bye.